146 million subscribers. They have 146 million for Disney Plus. That's what.
And that includes Hotstar.
That includes Hotstar.
Yeah. And that's largely going to disappear. And that's why they're trying to get away from this idea of, well, we're not trying to get the most number of subs anymore because they know the rest of these Hotstar things are going to. That's why they're trying to strike this $10 billion deal with Reliance to sell off the India assets and just say, here, we still want Disney exposure in India, but we figured out that it's not lucrative for us to actually manage it ourselves. We're better off selling you the asset, licensing the content out. You put it in India because you got the scale. We don't want to deal with it. And it's funny because this morning on the Warner Brothers earnings call that we also covered live, David Zaslav, what is he talking about? He said India. He's like, somebody asked about going to India. He's like, it's just not lucrative enough. I mean, like, we want to be there, but it doesn't make any sense for us to try to be aggressive and spend a ton of money to try to operate ourselves there because you could tell he was trying to choke his tongue back and go, because look at Disney, y'all. I mean, like, you really want us to do the same damn thing? And look, Bob Iger on the call today, more spin, right? We had 5 of the top 10 or 4 of the top 10 or whatever the hell it was, biggest box offices of the year so far. But you keep losing money on it every quarter. This is not hard to figure out, folks. It's just common sense.
By the way, there's a political aspect to them getting out of India, too, because the Chinese and the Indians hate each other, and they're having battles on their border. Right. And the Indians used to buy Chinese jets and Chinese guns, and they've stopped because the one they see at the air show works, and the ones they send them don't. So, I mean, there's,
That's why you bring Mark Parker in, and you name him your chairman at Disney, because he ran Nike for years, and he's real good friends with the Chinese. I keep going back. I keep reminding folks, does everybody remember how much trouble Disney had getting Phase 4 and 5 Marvel into Chinese theaters after COVID? And then all of a sudden, they were able to get Wakanda Forever and Ant-Man in there, Ant-Man 3. Why? Because that all happened just a few days after they announced Mark Parker as the new Disney chairman of the board, coming over from Nike, who good friends with the Chinese. That was not a coincidence.
And the Chinese aren't going to be, they aren't viable for entertainment's future. They have dried up that one.
Their economy is going to hell. They have massive unemployment. They have all those ghost cities. It ain't getting better there. It's getting a lot worse.
A lot worse. And they got demographic problems, huge demographic problems.
Mm-hmm.
So and they're not big on immigration over there. There's not a lot of people trying to get into that country.
There's a lot of people trying to get out.
I'm trying to get out.
Yeah.
I still think until Disney solves its problem, I'll say it again because, again, like we have a new audience, it's no matter their organization, the studio is the smallest aspect of it. You can run the parks till they're singing like a machine, but they're the mouth. The studio is the mouth, and it keeps poisoning their entire brand until they fix that executive culture. And that pervades down through everything else, they're not going to change their brand. They're just not.
No. This is new territory for a corporation this big. And this is the danger that every corporation should have seen with DEI. They somehow, a bunch of suits were convinced that that critical theory and DEI were a good idea, and that's what the consumer, the word they use, that's what they were going for, and that's going to be the future, and it should be very risk averse. And they didn't realize what they were stepping in because they're that out of touch. And Disney then directly getting into a fight with the state, and then the videos getting out, and us living in the 21st century where everything is the internet is going to crawl up your ass and investigate you, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And this is an old corporation that still bases its actions on some old ideals. And every corporation is going to have to change if they want to survive. And I think it's great because I think it's going to lead to authenticity. And if you're going to continue being fake and coming out with these stupid earnings reports where everybody knows you're lying, everybody knows you're effing lying. You're just trying to cover up the bleeding, and you can't. And you have people like Valiant, you have assholes like me, going through every second of a Marvel's movie. You know what you do? You make a better movie. You make a better movie, or you don't make it at all. And you really don't start stepping, like with Marvel and Star Wars and really simple things like your Disney parks. Don't get political. Be as apolitical as possible, and you could continue to do business in this world. but the future is the future that they thought would be woke. And yeah, you know what? A lot of people woke up. A lot of people woke up over the last couple of years to your woke bullshit. And now it is affecting this brand across the board. And that's why they are like, hey, you know, we're going to invest more money in the parks now. You know, we're going to go back to investing money in the parks, maybe because Universal's like gobbling up a bunch of our market share and potentially could gobble up more, especially and I hope they do, because Universal's been smart. You know, Universal, they own, you know, Universal's part of Comcast. Am I correct? And NBC, and that means they're part of MSNBC.
Exactly.
But their parks stay the out of it. You know, like it's smart.
And their employees are the same demographic as the ones that supposedly pushed Chapek into taking a stand on that law. And they basically told him, no, go away. We're in the entertainment business. Thanks a lot. No, thanks.
You know, I think, you know, again, we just came off of a quarter, and I'm going to look at it entertainment-wise. You know, hey, we're in football season. There's a lot of other things, but just for the entertainment side of Disney, we just came off a quarter, which was essentially the first quarter Hollywood was back from COVID. Okay, so this summer was the first time they were fully back, full release schedule, full summer release schedules. We had a potential, most of them sucked, but potential blockbusters every weekend. We had Barbenheimer. Everything Disney failed. So, and they were able to fudge around whatever they were. Sure, fine. The next year is going to be really interesting because there's nothing. There's one Marvel movie that's done. One. There's multiple TV shows that are finished that they don't want to release. Agatha, Ironheart, and Echo, they are going to release. But there's two other ones that they're like, well, we'll just wait. You know, one's already pushed off till 2025 when they have a year of next to nothing. We have how many Star Wars shows? Two potentially coming out. Skeleton Crew, which I haven't seen a single thing on, but apparently it's done. And The Acolyte, which will be the Marvels of Star Wars. And I just don't know how they're without completely fudging and lying and manipulating. I cannot see how they gain a single subscriber over the next year. There's nothing to drive it at all. I mean, you still need shows. You still need things that people will watch.
I think they're going to rely on this migration and integration in with linear broadcasters as these like Comcast contracts come up and all these other kind of things, because everybody else is going to get the same deal that they gave to Spectrum and Charter. And so they're going to make all these, and I think a lot of them are going to do this. I think, you know, all the other streamers should wind up doing this. Well, they'll just bundle this into linear and everybody will basically become eventually a wholesale customer by and large. So we'll see. But they'll have the scale. Yeah, it might.
I think most studios would be smart to go what potentially will be the Paramount route because they were told to do this by their bank is like, stop streaming, just stop streaming and provide content. And that's how studios will be able to survive. And Sony's doing it right now. And somebody will be the first domino to fall. And I think it's going to be Paramount.
License stuff out.
That's what Disney, stuff out.
Disney doesn't want it. Universal does it. Paramount does it. Sony, all of Disney's competitors license out, like not just bottom of the tier stuff. They license out headline content. I mean, and Disney doesn't want to do that with Star Wars and Marvel. And I think that's a mistake because even though they're not good, Netflix would still be willing to cut them a check for $1 billion for those over a few years. I mean, they would actually start making money again.
License out remaster and license out Buffy and Angel, put it on Netflix, you know?
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.